The New York Post reached out to me to ask me to write about the war on children and what I believe is one of the biggest impacts against the children in America. And while a lot of people want to focus on culture wars, topics like what's happening in schools across the country, maybe even drag queen story hour. And those things are worth talking about. But I believe the biggest war is not the war that's outside of our homes, but within our homes. It's how the adults are treating their children. The parents, are they acting like parents? And in this article, I wanted to talk about my experience where I experienced a parent who was selfish. My father, he chose himself over his children. He chose to live his life how he wanted to, and we became not second choices, but last choices within his life. I wanted to talk about how I've experienced what it's like to see a parent who forgets that his children exist because his existence is more important. And what he wanted to do was way more of a priority than sacrificing for his children. And I've seen where selfishness overshadows the need for love for their kids. And that's what I experienced as a child when it came to my father. And I think a lot of children are going through similar situations like me. America is divided not just by racial lines in politics or political lines, but is also divided in our homes, where nearly a quarter of children are growing up in separate homes from their parents. And most of those children are growing up separate homes from their fathers specifically. So we have to ask ourselves, who's starting this war? Why is this war occurring? And why are we losing it or letting it kill our families? Are we minimizing the impact of separate homes on our children? And I think that we are. I think that we're always looking for an external reason as to why our children are failing, rather than looking at ourselves as parents. As a father to a son who's now 18 years old, but I spent 18 years and I continue to spend my years looking at my son and wondering if I did right by him, if I set him up for failure or if I set him up for success. And only time will tell. But I sacrificed for my son. I sacrificed for his happiness. And I'm just not sure if as many parents in this country are sacrificing for theirs. Are they choosing their happiness? Are they splitting up their families that were once happy just so they can chase happiness elsewhere? Are they unwilling to sacrifice their happiness so that their kids have stability? Or are they just being whimsical? Are they living their lives like grown children and expecting their children to keep up with the adults? I think we have a lot of things backwards in this country, and I think how we treat our children is one of them. So we're losing this war, and we're letting our children die in the process.